Welcome back to another video, everyone, and this video is about trying to get us to shoot less, stress less and see more. Good morning, everyone. It's hard being a landscape photographer trying to capture sunrises. This is day 7 of my South Island trip and I'm getting tired. I'm actually getting exhausted. And I've cracked out the big guns today. I've got the big puffer jacket on and a woolly hat. So, forecast for snow in the next 2 days, and I'm currently sitting up at Lake Moke outside Queenstown, and I've got about a 10-minute walk to where I need to get to my first location. But I'm torn this morning. I've got a couple of locations I want to try and get to, but whether that's going to be possible or not, I'm not sure. I'm going to get out the van. It is very cold this morning. And I'll trudge over the hill here, carrying all my gear, and I'll talk to you. I'll talk to you on the way. Better get going. So this is Lake Moke that I'm here to photograph here, and I'm just walking up the track here in moderate darkness, and I'm trying to get to a location where this island in the middle, which you can't see, it's just to the left third there, is right in the middle of the frame. So I've probably got about 10 minutes to walk. And the light, as you can see, is started getting brighter towards this is actually shooting southeast, and it's been illuminated from the east, but I'm not quite sure it's going to work because we've got heavy cloud today. The two directions I wanted to shoot in today is this one and this one from a different location, and it's that one there. I don't think it's going to work because the cloud formation is too heavy. So I'm shooting this one first, and less jibber jabber, more walking, I think. So I've arrived, and there's a little bit of ripples in the water this morning, which is disappointing, but it's still giving me some reflections. So set up, and we can see by the reflections in the water behind the camera here that it's actually really quite blue. And if I look up here, all the light in the sky is blue, which might prevent us from getting colour this morning. And the only glimmer of hope that I do have is a tiny bit of colour in the bottom of that cloud there. But I'm not convinced that this is going to come through for us today, because there's clearly cloud in the west which is going to block the sun giving me colour in the sky. Which means if it doesn't happen, I've got to change the way that I shoot this, and this may well have to then be a long exposure panorama. But this is the island here in the middle. Now this is shooting at 2000 ISO because it's still quite dark, and there's a big island in the middle here with some lovely reflections down in here, and also we've got peaks in the distance, and that's exactly due southeast in that direction there too. So what's going to happen is that there's going to be quite a bit of dynamic range between the sky and these shadow areas here. But what's going to happen is the sky starts lightening. The light from the sky is going to be reflected in the water, which is going to help illuminate partly these hills from the bottom as well, which simply makes it easier to lift your dynamic range. It's very quiet. And the level in the back of the camera here has got the level and the up and down. So I think for today, because I'm looking for reflections, I'm actually going to put the horizon in the middle this morning. So I have to get both of these level. Oh, boom, there we are. Just about, oh, wrong way. That's it. And now it's just a case of waiting for the light. Now, I recently did a big video on several components or philosophical elements of photography, and one of them was forming a relationship with your scene, and I think I do that mostly by getting here early. I'm here quite early this morning. Too early for colour, because I don't think there's going to be colour, so it's all going to be blue. So if it's all going to be blue, I don't like shooting during blue hour. I might have to wait until the sun starts coming up and we're shooting then in more natural, a slightly warmer light. I also spoke about trying to be disciplined. I'll not be taking many shots here today, but I do want to demonstrate that I think in coming here early and scoping out your scene, you've then got the option to determine your composition and stick by that until the light's right. But as I say, I've compromised myself this morning a little bit because I'm torn between two locations. But this one I think is the better direction based on the cloud formations up above. So we can see that we've got some colour in the sky up here, and it's starting to intensify now, so I have to stop vlogging as much and start doing some shooting. I'm surprised we're getting that this morning, but there we are. I've not seen the eastern horizon, so that's my excuse. So I've got here some colour in the sky reflected in the lake. I'm going to set up with a big peak on the left hand side here for the first shot, and I'm actually going to shoot this at f20. And the reason I'm going to f20 is it's giving me a 5-second shutter speed, and this 5-second shutter speed should allow me just to flatten off the water a little bit. That's actually really cool. That's actually really nice. So what I'll do, I'll slide this back. That's my meter readings, so I'm quite happy with that, and I've now got to get shooting because this light is probably going to disappear as fast as it arrived. And I don't want this to move, so it's 2-second timer. That's actually really cool. That's actually really nice. So that's shot 1. 50% overlap, and bearing in mind I've got the nodal wheel set up to help me combat the convergence. 5 seconds f20 again, 100 ISO. That's really cool. I've really struggled on this trip because I've actually tried to do too much, and in trying to do too much it's really questioned what I'm trying to do with this trip, and it's been really stressful and really tiring, and the stress of it all has taken some of the fun out of it for me, and that probably then brings me back to doing photography for that connection with the landscape, living in the now and taking this stuff in. Because just standing anywhere in the world watching a sunrise come up and the colours form, it's just magical. And that's why I do photography. So I've got to be really careful that I don't lose sight of that. It's really nice. It's really nice the way that the light falls on the hills here. And just a little bit of water movement, but again the 5-second exposure will help quieten that off. We've got ducks landing in the water too, which isn't going to help. Don't even know if they're ducks. It's quite nice the way that the light's catching the reflection just there with the bird having dived. So this is a real balancing trick because we don't like shooting in blue hour. Blue hour came and went. The colour intensified, but we still had some strong blue up high, which is again reflecting in the water. So the balancing point is waiting for some of the colour to go, because then the temperature's getting a little bit warmer, or the colour temperature's getting a little bit warmer, and the blue vanishes. So we've now got a balance between some softer pinks and some softer blues. So I'm going to take another one. So hand in front of the shot. I'm going to take another one here. So the light's actually increased quite a bit. So I'm going to go down to about 3 seconds, I think. Same rule applies. If I meter for the highlights in the sky, I can keep the colour. And then I'll be able to lift the shadows. The water's gone a little bit flatter now, so there's less need to have that 5 seconds. 50% overlap. There's still a lot of blue here though. But you know what, it doesn't actually matter because this is really nice. I love the reflections, the symmetry of this is really cool. And there's some colour just forming on the right hand side, which will be probably on the right third of this panel. It is still very dark on the right hand side, and as I say, I don't really want to I don't want to bracket, so if it's too wide I might just end up bringing the panorama in from the right hand side, because I've got some lovely light on what's probably the left third and the central part here. It's really cool. Is it recording? Just see. And that's just the last of the colour there as the light increases and the light increases. It's actually increasing quite quickly now because the clouds behind the camera here are also starting to lighten, which might give me rise to go back to that second location now. So this is going to be much brighter because again the light's increased. 2 seconds F20. Yeah, I've certainly got enough scope in there to be lifting the shadows. But that's the colour show done. So this is going to be my last shot here, and then we're going to jump in the van. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to jump in the van, which is a 10-minute walk that way, drive 5 minutes down the road to the second location, and I'm going to point this way. And what's over here, because we've got these gnarly mountains up here. They're quite angular, they're quite nice actually. And they again will be reflecting in the smaller body of water. It's just a little bit up the road. So this is my second location here, and I was originally going to try and just do a reflection of the water as I did in the last shot, but all these ducks or whatever they are playing in the water and it's not flat, so I don't want to throw stones at them, which I'm not going to do. But what I'll try and do though is I'll maybe try and keep the grasses in the foreground here and punching up towards the V with the mountain in the background. We've got enough grey cloud cover above the mountain to stop any blue coming into the frame, which is ideal for a landscape shoot. I don't like shooting with any blue in the sky where I can. Sometimes it can't be avoided, but if I have a choice, I'd rather not do it. Then find a dry location. This is marshy. So again, I'm just getting set up for a quick pano. This might be a 3-shot. Probably a horizontal frame this time. Was it a horizontal frame last time? I think it maybe was actually. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to set up to try and make the most of the scene here. It's actually really nice, but I think the other scene this morning was stronger, so my first location choice was probably the right one, irrespective of the light. So now the light has dramatically improved, so I'm going to go to about f11 and probably around about a 1/10 of a second. Nope. 1/4 of a second's probably right. So I'm more or less bang on the level again. So I'm just going to take this and see what this looks like. We've got a run of trees up towards the left hand corner too, which is actually really nice. The colour palette's really nice in this light actually. That's really cool, but I think what I'm going to do is to try and smooth this off in the foreground because we've not got a lot of dramatic moving cloud. I wonder what I'm getting with. Hang on. Hang on, hang on, hang on. What I'm going to do actually first of all is I'm going to do a long exposure. I'm going to go and get the ND filter and I'm just going to do a single shot in the middle of the ridge, the mountain in the background and the clouds. I'll take a single shot, not long exposure, and then I'll take a long exposure over behind it, which will allow us to see the difference that makes, and that's going to stop all the ripples that I am getting in the water here with these birds. There's the single shot at 1/4 of a second. It's actually quite nice. I'm not quite sure that my framing is right though. So to slow this down, this one's going to be a 6-stop because we've got a base exposure of a 1/4 of a second at f11. So 1/4 of a second and 6 stops would be 1/2 second, 1 second, 2 second, 4 second, 8 second, 15 second exposure, which will be enough I think. If I was going to go to a 10-stop, the extra 4 stops would make it 1 minute, 2 minute, 4 minute, 8 minute. So I'll try this first and see how it looks, eh? He has to go. So onto bulb. Nope, onto manual 15 second even. F11. Two-second timer and we'll try this. It's like being at a wildlife park in here, it's noisy. You know, that's okay. I'm probably going to go longer though. I stepped away from the camera because this is really marshy here and I didn't want to move around when it was still working, so I'm quite happy with that. That's quite nice. But I'm going to try and get that even silkier. Tell you what I'll do, rather than put the extra 4 stops on, I'm going to go an extra 2 stops on here, which will give me 1 minute. So if I go down to F18, that's 2 stops extra, which then gives me 1 minute. So we'll try this. So I'm going to try this panorama, left to right, maybe 2-3 shots horizontal, and I'll try and catch these diagonals in the trees up in the hill. It's a very balanced light. The sky, the mountains, the slopes. There's not a lot of dynamic range here, which should allow me to capture this without too much manipulation. So I'm going to move this over here. I'll set this back to F11. I'll go back to manual. And I'll go back to... So the light's increasing all the time, so I'm going to go back to 10 seconds. It's drier over here, which is why I'm not moving away from the camera. Yeah, okay, that's pretty cool for a light meter reader. I'm happy with that. So let me just go in and check focus. Yep, it was good. Play that, delete that one, and go again. 15 seconds on. Yeah, it's quite nice that, I like that. Still a little bit blue actually. There's been a real blue light in the sky, in the air, this last week and a half. It's been uncharacteristically blue. And it's been uncharacteristically blue beyond global adjustments, to be honest, without image degradation, so that's really, really nice. The colour palette there is beautiful. And we're just finishing off this last one with the grasses up in the right hand frame, just to frame up the rest of this as well. It's really cool. That's nice. That I think is me done. That's me done. So that's me done from 2 locations at Lake Moke in the South Island of New Zealand today, and it's actually been really cool. It's the first time I've been here physically, and well worth a look. It's quite a gem of a place actually. 2 locations about 5 kilometres apart. Felt a wee bit frantic because I'm taking 2 locations. I don't do that, I'm more disciplined than that. But I didn't want to miss this one today either, which has been rewarding. It's been nice. The sun colour this morning, the sky colour this morning, it was okay. It was better than I thought it was, so I was surprised, pleasantly surprised. One of the things for today though, getting to your location in plenty of time and just setting up, and normally setting up and staying there until you're done. And I ended up taking about 3 lots of panoramas up there today, which is a lot for me, not like me. And again, here I've taken 3 lots of shots for panoramas in a single. So 7 shots in total to process for me on a shoot is actually quite a lot. And one of the things that I've always gone over is that the less you take, because you're more critical about what you do take, it saves you in a whole lot of metrics across your workflow, from scoping out locations to framing up, getting the compositions right. If you nail that in the first instance, you just have to sit and wait for that light and colour to be right, eh? And then in post-processing, you've not got 100 files to process, you've just got 3 or 4 or 7 in today's case. So that's me all done from Lake Moke. I hope you've enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. This is getting to the end of this road trip. I'm kind of almost over this. I'm really, really tired. You can probably tell. You can probably tell. So until next time, you keep shooting, you have fun, get up for a sunrise, out your bed, and we will see you next time. Until then, thanks for watching. Cheerio. Thanks for watching everyone, wherever you are. And until next time, you stay safe, have a good week, and we'll see you soon. Cheerio.